All right, we are on tonight with Michael Goff from King Louie's Meat Apostle. How are you doing tonight?
Great. How you doing, Bradley? How are things
Doing.
in the Chiefs Kingdom?
That's that is very true. Michael is in King Louie's is one of our major sponsors for the show, so it's good to have him on and talk some barbecue.
Absolutely, absolutely. Hey, thanks for carving out a couple minutes of your time for us lowly barbecue, addicts that are out there. Just we've already cleaned the kitchen 40 times, right? The trailer's cleaned twice, but
Yes,
it's snack time, so I'm still gonna go in there and nibble on some pork belly and have to clean up one more final time.
I, I've definitely cooked a few turkeys, and we've had to clean up the kitchen a few times after this weekend. That's for
How
sure.
many how many turkeys did you guys did you have to cook for a bunch of clients or no?
No, I just cooked for family. I didn't. I thought about putting some out there to see if anybody wanted some, but we kind of had stuff going, so we just kind of. I just cooked for family.
No, I get it. I get it. I don't. I try not to cater at all. I still get pulled in occasionally. I'm a sucker for anything children's related or charity related, obviously. As we all do, and that's one of the cool things about the barbecue community and so many folks that are out there that are just like us. I mean, it's more of a family atmosphere, reason to get around. It's the camaraderie, it's everything associated with it, from the comp trail to doing a simple church luncheon, right? I mean, it
Yes.
all ends up we all gravitating around, the last the last slab of ribs and who's gonna get what, right? And share experiences. So it's kind of how my journey's kind of got started. How about you? How'd you get into barbecue, by the way?
Well, depends on who you ask. Let me put my phone in my tripod holder real quick. Um, I if you ask my old if you ask my old boss, I worked at started a barbecue restaurant when I worked in high school, but I was a dishwasher slash fish fryer, so I wouldn't call that as my barbecue start. My wife gave me my first grill, probably when we first started dating, which was 2010. Yeah, May of 2010. And then I just kind of went from there. I worked in the coal mines, and I didn't really have much time to grill, but I watched Barbecue Pit Masters, of course, and that's what kind of started it. And I would cook like ribs on my Weber kettle grill whenever we moved to Illinois. And then when I moved back, my uncle, he was he went from a Weber Smoky Mountain to a Traeger, and he basically said, "Hey, if you want this thing, come get it." And so that's pretty much four drums late or six smokers later, drums and everything else. It's here I am.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's odd because my browser history, I mean, how can I put this? The family computer has a very diverse web browser history. So it could
Yes.
be anything from renewing a passport to, barbecue competition calendars and planning out to, our production runs to marketing. So it's really odd what you see on here from, just it's kind of funny. I pulled up. My wife was in here, and she was, I think, probably playing bills or doing something on the computer, and she said, what is what is peanut sauce? How come you have all of these search on peanut sauces? Well, I'm trying to do a Thai peanut. I'm working on a Thai peanut recipe for ribs, sticky ribs. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm just kind of playing. I'm taking notes and everything else. So that's always mixed into our Google search somewhere. There's always some crazy recipe that we're always trying to tackle or something. So which is always good, right? So
So I guess we just kind of dive on in. Introduce yourself and tell us your company name.
well, addicted to Q. Hey everyone, Michael Goff. I'm with Meat Apostles. Born and Missouri guy, based here in the Midwest. I'm a Texan. I've kind of lived in about 30 different states, but for most of my life, I've lived in Missouri, and my family's here in the Midwest. So it's always good. We made a conscious decision several years ago to move back to get closer to family while we had the opportunity, and it was a move that was a blessing for us as a family. So we're based here in Huntsville, mighty Huntsville, Missouri, population 1,400, just north of Columbia. We're big Mizzou grads, so half our family, we are family divided. We've got Big 8 roots everywhere, but primarily split between the Wildcats, the Jayhawks, and the Missouri Tigers. There's some Boilermakers and Cornhuskers mixed in for good measure, but that's kind of the background. But our company, we got a line of rubs and seasonings that's done very well. Meat Apostles. You can check us out online, meatapostles.com. Check it out. We've got some really good holiday recipes up there too, by the way. So I know that prime rib season's on us now that we're done with turkeys. Don't give up on turkeys. It's so underrated, right, Brad? Straight, yes, Bradley, yes or no?
I did a turkey video actually. I'm getting ready to put it on YouTube from this weekend.
Man, I think turkey is the most underrated protein in the barbecue community, in my opinion. I just get caught. I go through my turkey phases or phases. We all kind of go through phases, right? When we're cooking trying to perfect the recipe, trying to execute, do everything else. But turkey's a protein that doesn't get a lot of love in our household as much as it probably does until I decide to, it's time we need a little more turkey in our life. And then it's a mad dash for like another 3 or 4 weeks. That's all we're eating is turkey and manufacturing and packaging and sending stuff out. I think right now I've still got 48 pounds of bird to cook tomorrow. So, wow. It never gets old. But, part of the fun thing about it is I think for turkey is that it's delicate. It takes on a lot of really good flavors of the smoke. And the beautiful thing about it is it's such a delicate protein. It's so easy to overcook. You've got to prep the heck out of it. And it's just a wonderful canvas to put some flavor profiles on there that could be something really special or traditional, And that's the thing that's kind of neat about barbecue, right? Is that yes. You can kind of do whatever you kind of are looking for.
That's like my buddy at work. He's like, so I cook it until the little popper thing pops out, and I said, no, don't do that.
Yeah, kind of crazy.
If you want dry turkey, do that.
Kind of crazy. I had a client wanted a giant bird, and it was a big bird, big bird. It's like 28 pounds, big bird. So we did our brine, we did the injection, we did everything. And I was looking back at the notes on the injection that we were using, how much butter actually went into that bird. Oh my word, I was a little surprised that we'd use 3 sticks of bird on a 3 sticks of butter on a bird that was that large, injection, everything else. I mean, it turned out fantastic, by the way. I love turkey. So, and for, us barbecue guys, everybody that's in this barbecue world, I mean, summers are great, but winters is the fat guy eating sport. It's a downtime for us. It's a chance for us to kind of kick back and on our side of the fence, it's our kind of time to kind of take a step back and give back. We do a lot of community function events and things of that nature this time of year. So we're tied into the community pretty good, which we really enjoy. So
I tried, just for FYI, I tried one of his rubs. It was the trash can molasses on ham, and it was amazing.
Yes. That's probably, I know we're here to kind of introduce the line and everything, but I'm not going to go into what all the flavor profiles are and everything, but this little trash can molasses right here, it's got, I'd say our line is very, very Kansas City-esque. It's kind of a Kansas City outside the box take on a Kansas City barbecue. A lot of sweet heat. There's a lot of savory notes that are in there that we've kind of gathered from our time in Texas. Not a true Texas barbecue. I'm more of a sweet heat guy when I cook, and how things kind of came about for us is we use the same ingredients, molasses, brown sugar, a lot of honey. So we kept coming and gravitating back to the same type of flavors, hickory salts, bourbon barrel salts, applewood, smoked salts. So we're using we started playing around with a little higher profile ingredients, and put together some things that were pretty creative, and I just got to where I was making it basically like everyone else. You make it on your own, right? And then the next thing you know, boom, bang, boom, you're going to packaging. You're talking to co-packers. The next thing you know, you've got dozens of retailers that you're dealing with. So for me, it all just kind of came back out of simplicity. I like adding layers of flavor to stuff, but I've got recipes that I make that I have a little bit of everything in it. And for me, I'm not using just simply one single rub. I've got 8 different flavors that we've worked on through the years, and all of them are kind of like I tell people it's kind of like barbecue garanimals. So if you're young enough and you're not familiar with garanimals, be sure to Google them. It was a children's line of clothing that you could interact and match. So if you liked what the frogs looked like, you could match anything that had a frog tag on it. Similar kind of concept here, where there's a lot of layering of flavors that take place whenever we're barbecuing, from a savory base note to putting top layers on, a mid layer, and then a finishing layer towards the end of a cook or something along those natures, and then finally, glazing. So we just kind of got to where we got tired of keeping up with the old notebook and how many teaspoons of this and how much of that, and I was like, yeah, this is good. It's done well. We tested it. It was battle tested, family approved, and then we put it in several contests, and it performed well. Got a lot of teams that have had a lot of walks. I think you had a chance to try randomly. You didn't even tell me you were trying something, man. Next time you're going to try something, give me a little courtesy heads up, and I'll kind of help you tweak a recipe. Not that I'm a recipe stealer, but I'm an open book too. So I'm always happy to help. So
I've been kind of tweaking and playing around with them and messing around with them, but
the one you were talking about, that trash can molasses, does a delicious ham, man. It does brown sugar molasses. It's got citrus notes in it with orange, and ginger. It's spectacular this time of year. I've had some friends that have done bread puddings with it. I'm a bread pudding freak. There's some recipes. I've got a bread pudding recipe online. You can check that out too. And I use the one that I'm using is actually I got it right here. It's called hot apple pie. It's got apple notes in it. This one did pretty good a couple years ago in the American Royal. I think it got 17th in the world, which isn't too terribly bad.
No,
right?
No.
It turned out pretty good. It's got a little bit of kick of cayenne in there, which is good, but there's a lot of apple notes, a lot of smoked hickory, applewood smoke in it. It's absolutely delicious on anything pork. We did a charity fish fry. We put that in the batter as well. It makes it really good. I've got some butcher shops that are using, all of these rubs that have a little bit of a sweet kind of kick to them. For sausage, I mean, goodness, you name it. That's the beautiful thing about barbecue, right? It's a blank canvas. It's what you're creating. It's execution.
So here's the $1 million question: where did the name King Louie's Meat Apostle come from?
Oh, well, the funny thing was we were kind of I kind of had the idea of Meat Apostles is kind of where we were kind of going with things, and I had a buddy that said, hey, why aren't you calling it King Louie something? I had a nickname that was my buddies called me King Louie, and what we did was it was how the nickname kind of came about is I travel a lot. I travel an awful lot, and I have to make reservations. Well, unfortunately, I have to frequently make a lot of reservations and have to cancel a lot of reservations. And I always felt bad doing it in my own name, so I came up with a pseudonym. So King Louie was the one we would always end up making the reservations under, and it just kind of stuck. Next thing we know, we've got King Louie's Meat Apostles. So, but if you're going on Facebook or Instagram, it's just hashtag Meat Apostles, and you can pull us up, or meatapostles.com, and you can kind of check us out. So not real proud of that one. Of not that we dined and dashed or did anything crazy. It's just when you're making a dinner reservation, you're forced to cancel as often as you want. I didn't want my name attached to it, but now it is. So the word's out.
Cat's out of the bag.
Cat's out of the bag, for show.
So you said you've been at the American Royal. Do you compete yourself, or do you just have teams that use your product?
No, we haven't had anyone compete at the Royal. We've got 4 teams that we're sponsoring now. We're going to be expanding that to 6 teams. We're going to pick up 2 more teams this next year. So we'll open up applications at some point in the middle of December. We'll make announcements into January for everyone. And the product's been well received, not only on the competition trail, but there's been a lot of hardware that's kind of fallen into place with it, which is really really good. I haven't competed for I think, goodness, 3 years. We did an SCA event last summer, not this year, but last year. This summer it was just kind of crazy. I unfortunately moved back to get closer to home and family, and we're dealing with a lot of family issues, and as our parents age. So it's we're grateful for the opportunity to be back, but at the same time, the last couple of years have kept us away from doing some things that we've really enjoyed throughout time. So hopefully this year we'll have a chance to get back out. I mean, I'll give a couple shout outs. I mean, since we're on here, I can tell you that Juke Moreno, Mark Martinez down at Texas Country Barbecue. I think they'll probably be cooking. They're on the outlaw circuit down in Texas. I've got all my local guys, since this is kind of a Midwest based kind of channel, kind of give you guys an idea. And it's funny because all my Texas buddies, the argue is which we all like to have. It's fun, especially when you're drinking in something cold or a natty, or just to give each other a hard time. Where's the best barbecue coming from, right? And Texas is obviously has a very large mark on the barbecue community. There's no doubt about it, and in that Texas style. So to see some sweet heat, arriving on some different areas and taking with some unique profiles and getting some walks and people kind of scratch their head is always kind of fun. So from our side of the fence, that is. But yeah, we'll be expanding our teams. We look to pick up a couple more teams sponsored this year. And then locally, so because we are Midwest, we got a couple of local teams, Small Town Smoke, Tommy Wilkinson and his wife are on here. Jess are on here. And then an up-and-comer, Ethan McAdams with Hilltop Smoke. He's going to do a couple of events this year. So we're trying to help, and mentors it's the barbecue family. You're learning from mistakes. You're learning from everybody else's mistakes. And hopefully you've got somebody around to kind of guide you so you're not burning those beautiful, beautiful, beautiful prime slabs of ribs. Because they ain't cheap.
No, they're not. I met Small Town Smoke in Boonville when I competed with them.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
I did want to give a shout out. I did use his King Louie's Honey Chipotle rub on my chicken wings, and they got first place. So I'm just saying.
Where was that at? That was at Boonville?
Yep.
Okay. Was that backyard deal?
Yeah, it was
Sweet.
The small town backyard contest. It's
cool.
15 minutes from my house, so I couldn't pass that one up.
That's right. You're Pilot Grove, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. We got friends down there, so we're real close. We're not far from you, so yeah, that's great. You mentioned Honey Chipotle. That one can go on absolutely anything. We were doing salmon with it and trout the other day, and it's a great. The granulated honey in this, man, it produces almost the most delicious candy coat that you're looking for. I mean, it's spectacular. So we use it on a lot of stuff. So we're talking recipes or anything else, I'm always happy to dive in. And assist any comp teams, backyards, heck, man, we're talking, this is I don't want to pigeonhole this conversation primarily to competition barbecue, because there's a lot of backyard warriors out there that we've learned a lot from through the years too, right?
Yeah. So what made you get started in barbecue?
Kind of like I mentioned, I got tired of mixing everything up and keeping track of recipes. And finally, whenever we were getting ready to launch, we were dealing with a co-packer, and it's when the pandemic hit. So for us, it was really a tumultuous time because that really delayed us almost a year. A lot of the manufacturers had halted taking on new clients. Co-packers were scrambling for ingredients for bottles, bottle shortages. Everybody switched to making hand sanitizers. The bottle companies did. So I mean, the packaging, everything else, and it just kind of slowed us down. So for us to get started in 19 and try to find our co-packer and then have the rug yanked out from underneath us a couple times. That was a little bit of a setback, but we're kind of happy. We're excited where we're at, and we've got some really good things. We've got 2 more products that will hopefully be coming out for. Stay tuned. Should be some new stuff coming down the pipe very, very shortly.
Nice.
Which, yeah, we're excited about it. I wish I had something like mocked up or sexy or ready for you, but I don't. Stay tuned though. I'll put you on the tester list. How about that, Bradley?
That'd be great.
Yeah, 100% on that one.
I'll definitely do a video on that one. So what made you? Oh, I can say what made you want to start developing rubs in the first place?
Well, again, it kind of for me, it was more about kind of validation, right? And I knew we were putting out a good product, and then we had some teams doing well with it, and then we started putting our rubs in rub contests, and we started, not knowing really, 3-4 years ago, looking back on things, just kind of as a litmus test, thinking, barbecue is really good. You always want to kind of say, yeah, this is great, right? How's it stacking up? How's this fare against everything else? And the only way to do it, it starts off in the family, right in the backyard, right? On typically a Weber or a kettle, and you're cooking on coals. You've got recipes. Your family, your friends dig it. And for us, we've done that for a long, long time. And whenever we threw it, our name or hat in the ring, if you will, in several of these competitions, we had we had some very, very favorable remarks, comment cards, things of that nature, and it just kind of exploded. When we put it in the Royal, the rub contest, we did very, very well. We were kind of taken back at how well the products had performed against some very, very, the heavyweights within the industry, and they've stacked up very, very well. We don't have near the distribution as some of the larger guys, but we're okay with that.
So here's the hard question: of all the rubs you have, which one is your personal favorite?
Aha, man. Depends on what we're cooking, man. Honestly, what are we gonna? You want to talk pork belly, man? I don't know. I can tell you one of my favorites that I'm always going to. I mean, if I had to pick one, this one right here, it's called Randolph County Rub. This is probably the closest one to me, like that is my go-to. This would be like me in the bottle right here, and it's a traditional all-purpose that's in there. I use that on pretty much everything. We've also got one that's called U Butter Clucker, which is it's an all-season, but it's primarily a competition chicken and poultry, if you will. So, but I've got SCA cooks that are using this on the SCA trail. They're using this with our beef blend, which is called the King's Blend.
Yep.
Which is really good. So I've got some steak cooks that are doing a combination of these two and my favorite, which is the green one. So they're doing those 3 profiles, and they perform very well. But for me, I mean, what depends on what we're cooking, right? Fish fry, doing something, I did Cajun birds. I did a couple Cajun birds. This one right here, I don't know what you can see, but this is hot Cajun love. This one right here is kind of crazy because the cool thing is there's a lot of Cajun rubs that are out there, but I haven't found any that are going to kick you with a pair of steel-toed boots on, right? Yep. I haven't found any that have been hot. So I found all the Cajun rubs that we were using. We kept adding hot sauce to it. We kept adding heat to it, more cayenne, trying to make it spicier. When a lot of them have a tendency to incorporate a lot of salt because it's a little less inexpensive.
Yep.
One of the things that we did is, we've had multiple chances to, cost reduce and things of that nature. But what we've hold our hat on is using a premium ingredients. We pay a little more for them. It costs us a little bit more. But we can really dial down the flavor profile that we're looking for based upon the ingredients themselves. Not just the chili powder, but what variety of powder of pepper, right? Are you talking Mecco or are you using Merita, right? So we have a tendency for our chili peppers to use Merita, which is a fully ripened red jalapeno that's smoked over time. It gets a leathery consistency. It has a little smokier, a little fruitier, a little earthier notes that are kind of to it. And it's again, we start talking about salt. We're not talking about just any salt. Most of the salts exclusively all the salts that we're using are flavored or smoked. Excuse me, not flavored, but hickory, applewood, mesquite. So premium ingredients equals premium product. So we've been pretty pleased with it. But hands down, this guy right here and that Cajun one made for really tasty Cajun turkeys. But the ones we're doing tomorrow, I've got 2 hot apple pies that I'm doing, and I am doing your purple one, that trash can molasses. Man, it is so delicious. There's no heat on this. This is all primarily sweet and savory.
Yeah.
Just absolutely delicious this time of year. I've got some comp teams in Oklahoma that are using it on ribs. They've had some decent results with it, which has been encouraging because I didn't design that for pork, that particular product. I did, but not specifically for ribs. That was more of a different. I was using that on the pulled and just shoulders.
Yep.
Not ribs. But definitely can, no doubt about it. But just for me, that wasn't my pork shoulder recipe.
So how long did it take you to make all of the rubs, and did you release them all at once, or did you kind of release them one by one?
That's kind of a good question. When we got into this was more about, again, packaging for us and small distribution. And we pushed out I had 4 recipes that we were replicatable almost immediately. We bounced around from, packer to packer to packer during the pandemic. And it took us a while to find the right business partner. We found individuals that could replicate the product and push it to market for us, but they weren't our business partners. So it was a very timely decision that we made as an organization, just to find the right partner. And then once we identified them to kind of move forward with it. But we released 4 SKUs to start. Randolph County, honey chipotle, smoky candy apple. That pulled, I think, 23rd in the world a couple of years ago at the Royal too. And then let's see, what was the 4th one? Oh, trash can molasses. And then after that, we've released U Butter Clucker, which is a garlic pepper blend. Oh, it's delicious. It's really good on brisket. Fantastic on a brisket cook, by the way. It's got a couple of different meshes of pepper with a little bit of 16 in there, so it holds up well to large cuts. It's great on birds. Again, I made this primarily for competition chicken rub, right? And I'm using it more on beef than on chicken right now, which is good. So, and in all honesty, my wife loves this one. So she uses this on eggs in the morning.
Butter clucker, I have that on my list to try on some chicken. I'm hoping to try it this week on it.
Yeah. Well, if you don't have any, I know a guy, so just give me a PM.
I got a bottle. I'm ready.
Okay, good. I don't know what you got, what you don't. So always happy.
No, that's on my to-do list to try. Oh, I tried the smoked candy apple is one of my favorites. And I tried that on some pork chops, and it went well with pork chops.
Oh, yes. Man, we did a little catering cook not long ago, about a couple weeks ago, and we did these thick cut pork sticks, were absolutely delicious. And we used a little trash can molasses on them, which, man, absolutely tore down the house. So, hey, a little side note. Did you hear about, do you know Bill Dumas, the sausage sensei?
Mm-mm.
He put out a sausage. He's out of, goodness. Just I think it's Blackson Brothers Black Iron Barbecue down
Yep.
just north of Austin, and Sausage Sensei. You can hashtag him. Great guy. I had a chance to meet him at Bud's Classic Barbecue in Columbia, Missouri. He was doing a
Yep.
sausage class there, but he is a very talented sausage maker. But here's why I bring this up. He put out a sausage, perfect timing, Thanksgiving sausage. And he was texting me. We were chatting about it back and forth. Sent me the photos. I was like, it's got turkey, it's got brisket, sweet potato, cornbread, stuffing. I mean, it's a Thanksgiving cranberry. It's Thanksgiving in a casing, really. Well, it looks really interesting. Hashtag Sausage Sensei too, by the way. If you want to check him out online, give him a like and a follow. He's got some very, very unique profiles that he works with. He likes to push the envelope, which is absolutely fantastic. But it got picked up by Barstool Sports and exploded. And then he just did a little, I think he had a piece this morning on the Today Show, which was kind of cool.
That is awesome.
Yeah. But the reason for me bringing this up, check him out online and take a look at that sausage profile picture. Okay. It is unbelievable what's going on there. It's pretty spectacular. So he's got some sausage classes coming up too, so you can probably check those out. Speaking of classes, how many classes have you taken in classes, Brad?
I took one so far.
Did you? Okay.
And that was my buddy Eric Burkhart from Uncle Bub's. He's from Eugene, Missouri.
Yeah, Hillbilly Hogshine.
Yes.
Hadn't he won the Invitational?
He won the Open in 07, I think it was.
Okay. Yeah. I've heard of Eric a couple times, and our paths have crossed, but we haven't formally met yet. So
like I said, he's a pretty good cook. So
yeah, 100%. I've heard a lot of really good things. I can't wait till we have a chance to our paths cross and we have a chance to meet. That's what's neat about this is, there's so many folks that are around here, and I'm looking just literally around here. Every time I'm in Texas, I'm telling you, it's always an argument at every barbecue. It always comes up at least once. If Texas has the best barbecue, and I'm always throwing, Missouri and Kansas City out there. I'm not hating on St. Louis because I love St. Louis still too.
Yes.
However, those guys are relentless. We need to unite in the Midwest and make sure that they know this. And the crazy thing is, when you look at what Blues Hog did, pulling in, their Memphis in May, right, this year, which was fantastic. Right down the road from us is Daryl Lampkins and Belly Brothers, right?
Yeah.
They won Memphis in May. They've got a garage, probably a storage unit full of trophies at this point. So Chase Noodles right down the road. He was cooking with in Clark. He was part of Team Blues Hog.
Yes.
So, there's a lot of really good things taking place here in mid-Missouri quietly. That there's an argument to be said that kind of maybe mid-Missouri gravitating towards Kansas City, maybe that's the heart of barbecue.
I think it is.
About it. You can throw there's some pretty compelling arguments to be made, right?
Oh yeah.
Show, and we haven't even started to talk about any of the comp teams that are out there. This isn't even a really deep comp conversation. We're just scratching the surface.
No, like you got Chris Schaefer who just won the Jack Daniels from St. Charles. So
yeah, there's a lot of good things taking place around here, and
there is.
It's like anything else. I was talking with a buddy yesterday. We were having a beer, and I hadn't seen him for a while on vacation. We were just kind of chit-chatting, and he was telling me a story of a team. This is many years ago. He was at the Houston Rodeo, and he left a binder out, and another team came by and swiped his binder. Well, it had recipes in it, so he's a little upset by it. So long story short, it's not about recipes. Recipes are good. It's about the execution surrounding it.
You got to still cook it.
You better believe it, buddy. They can tell you exactly what step A, B, and C to do, but man, you gotta get in there. You gotta cook it, and you gotta execute, because not everybody can execute. And that's when the dream rises to the top.
Yep. That's what you can get all the tools you want, but if you don't know how to do it, It doesn't do any dang bit of good.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I was looking at, and I'm relatively new to the Addictive to Q Facebook group, right? Which is
Yes.
fantastic. So for those of you that are on Facebook and have a chance, you probably saw this through Facebook or some type of channel. Give it a smash it and like it, right? Because
Yep.
there's a good group of backyard cooks ranging from just starting out, bought their first Oklahoma Joe or Weber or Camp Chef or whatever, just getting started, to guys that are 5-time world champions and world champion steak cooks that are not only in this group, but that find a group. This is a great one to start with, because not only is it does it have some of the heavyweights within the industry in it, and it definitely does. It's Midwest based, which I kind of appreciate. It definitely stands out after that. So.
And that's why when me and Brian first started this, that's what we wanted. We wanted something that could cater to home cook, like we could do home cooks videos. That way, somebody wants to know how to smoke a turkey that's never done it before, they can all the way to interviewing guys that just won the Jack Daniels and just won the American Royal and just all the above, from anyone in between.
Absolutely. There's nothing. I was talking with another friend of mine yesterday, and I said, Mary, good to see you. How was Thanksgiving? She goes, it was so stressful. It's one of the most stressful things. And I was like, why is that? She goes, because I had to cook to a timeline. It's one thing when you're doing the family dinners and then you step into the comp arena and you're cooking on the timeline, and you've got your schedule kind of mapped out and what your prep work is. And,
Yep.
you've got each of your steps. It's the same concept for a big family dinner. We're eating at 1. Don't be late, right? Inevitably, what happens? I know on our side of the fence, I know what happens. Dinner's never served until 2:30. Everyone's supposed to be there at 1, but an hour and a half later, we'll finally have everything together, right?
That was my first, and my wife's first mistake was always, oh, it'll be done in 8 hours. Don't worry about it. I checked online. It's going to be done exactly in 8 hours, so I don't have to worry about it. And 10.5 hours later, the food's done, and everybody's hungry because their dinner's 2 hours late.
Yep. Yeah. So
I tell people to get it done early and put it in a Cambro or a cooler or the oven or whatever. And
yeah, we're it's interesting because I've got a couple of friends that do a lot of catering, and one of the things that I don't have a ton in my arsenal, we need to update our Cambro game. We're overdue. We need some new Cambros. That's for faux show. So
I just got my first one in October, and it's nice.
Yeah.
Before I just put stuff in coolers and went on.
Yeah. I mean, listen, you don't have to have Cambros out there. If you're cooking something and you're running out of freezer space, you got an extra cooler hanging around, wrap that brisket up, throw it in there, baby. That's the best way to do it if you're backyard cooking, whatever it is. Those coolers work both ways, just like a thermos, guys. Take advantage of them. Save you fridge space.
That's what I used for my first year of backyard competition too, was a cooler.
Yep.
100%. It's going to be a game changer with a Cambro now, but hey, you can make it. That's what I always tell people whenever they ask me, how much money do you have to spend to get in a barbecue? I said, I start with a 10x10 easy up, a couple of zero gravity chairs, a few tables, and 4 homemade drums. And that's what I cook on. I mean, you can spend as much or as little as you want.
Oh yeah. It's like anything else. But if you're just looking if you're looking to kind of dip your toes into like the competition trail, KCBS has some fantastic backyard series that are right here in the Midwest, which are really great. And it's relatively inexpensive to get started. Pay a nominal entry fee, as you know, Bradley, and you're off and rolling.
Yep. American Royal Backyard is in March, so if anybody's ever interested in that, or if anybody ever wants to have questions about it, I am an open book. Shoot me a message, whatever, and I would be more than happy to answer any questions. Like I said, last year was my first year competing, but my goal by the end of the year was to qualify for the KCBS World Invitational, and I did that in September, so I can't complain too much.
Yeah, absolutely. And how much did you pick up on your first year on the trail?
Oh, every contest got better.
Yep.
And I made some dang good friends that I still talk to and message all the time. So that's the main thing.
It's like anything else. It's a heck of a hobby because you're around a lot of like-minded individuals that sure do like barbecue, and there's a lot of good food around.
That is very true. So, what kind of smokers do you cook on whenever you're doing your occasion?
It's depends on how big. We've got large families, but come from large families. So if we're cooking, we got to put some proteins out, and so it really depends on how big the audience is. But most time, I mean, just for on the daily, I'm using a RecTech. I'm a RecTech guy. I'm part of the RecTech family, so I'm down with those. I'll use I'll use the 1250, the 700, which is great. Don't have a problem with either of those. Weber's, Oklahoma Joe's. I've got rocket stoves. I'm anti-drum though.
Really?
I am. I'm anti-drum. So I know that's a hot barbecue opinion, but for me, gonna pass. I'm gonna stick to what I know and what I like. But again, I haven't been on the comp circuit for a little bit, which is kind of good. But honestly, my favorite smoker is custom built. It was built by my uncle and my father-in-law probably 25 years ago, 30 years ago. We just did a paint job and put new rims and tires on it. I've got to call a guy and we're getting a new paint job on it this year. Team colors, Meat Apostles, which will be nice. So, but it's a hell of a smoker. The reverse flow that they built, and in all honesty, it can cook 144 chickens on. There's two sides to it, so it can cook right at 300 full roasting chickens.
Wow.
And you still have room for a whole hog on each side and probably 5 shoulders and 4 briskets.
Wow.
It's a monster. And it eats fuel, but I'll be honest, the bark that it puts on, it is beautiful. Man, I love it. You just
talk about
if you're gonna
RecTech, I've heard their customer service is second to none.
Oh my word, yeah, they are absolutely fantastic. And for the, there's you can have that debate. If we can talk about smokers all day, I'm a big fan of Smoking Brothers, their product. I haven't pulled the trigger to get one of those yet. I've cooked on Green Mountain. I've cooked on the eggs, the Kamados. I mean, you name it. Anything down to even the small little Weber. We were cooking hot dogs on that the other day. So, with the kids. So it's kind of pick your poison, and then like anything else, it's about execution for how good of a cook can you produce on absolutely everything. And I haven't gotten the bark on the brisket using my pellet that I've liked on my stick. So
people have asked me before, on Facebook, what kind of smokers do you need for competitions? And the answer I tell people is whatever you've learned and can master.
Yep.
Like I said, I cook on 4 drums and they all 4 run completely different, but I know all their quirks and what I need to do on a certain thing when it's acting a certain way, how to fix it, how to make it better, just on like how much of an adjustment to the intake damper I need to make, how much to just it's when you learn. That's the right answer.
Yeah. It's all about fire management. It's we all end up talking about it and maintaining the temps. One of the reasons I am a fan of the RecTech is I think they have some of the best controllers in the industry. Their construction's fantastic, but I haven't had again, there's a couple of I do want to get my hands on Smoking Brothers, right? But their customer service is phenomenal. It's a thicker gauge metal. The construction's fantastic, and the electronics are just gorgeous. So
I applied for their When Pigs Fly barbecue competition in January. I doubt I'm going to get picked, but I did apply for it. So
nice.
Down in Cape Girardeau, the one that's inside where they give you the smokers to cook on.
Yeah, that's a good event, and unfortunately, they're having it at a similar time, and I couldn't go last year, and I'm definitely not able to go this year either. which is a little disappointing because I definitely like supporting small business, especially here in Missouri. So they put out a great product, and if you're looking for pellet smokers out there, I mean, honestly, do your research. There's a ton of great products that are out there. Going from Traeger to Green Mountain to the Smoking Brothers. Even take a look at your pit bosses, right? There's like you said, you can pick your entry point, spend as little or as much as you want to, but at the end of the day, you're going to have to know how to cook on it. That's really what it comes down to. And that's takes time. It's going to take a lot of mistakes. It's going to take a lot of bad barbecue before you start making consistently good barbecue.
I pretty much ruined pulled pork for my wife for the first 2 years I started smoking because I thought if it didn't have white smoke pouring out like a damn chimney or a train locomotive, that it wasn't going to be good barbecue, and it would turn out like a damn ashtray. And she kept trying to tell me it's too smoky. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. And I kept wondering why I didn't know that it was bitter. I didn't know what it was, but I would taste it. It would just give you this weird taste in your mouth. And I'm like, what is this? And then for the longest time, and then I finally realized that, and through enough Facebook and learning that, hey, you don't have to have it looking like a damn chimney pouring smoke out it to be smoked meat.
Yeah, less is more, right? We always, at least I'm guilty of this. If 1 tablespoon's good, what's 1.5? What's 2, right? But and that's part of it. Again, at the end of the day, even if you're cooking in the backyard, you got to know your grill well, right? You know where the hot spots are. You know where the cold areas are. You know which corner gets hot and which corner's not getting the heat, right? That's why we're kind of moving things around. But if you're going to compete, it's the same principle. You're gonna gravitate to what you know and what you can replicate and what you can execute on consistently. But pellets is a great way if you're out there and you're a backyard guy just starting. I mean, charcoal is the way to go. But if you're gonna dip your toes into pellets, I'm not gonna lie, for especially a backyard cook, it's great. It helps with the fire management. It's a little easier. It's a little easier cook, and at the end of the day, it's just about making good food and laughing, having fun with family and friends, right?
So what's your favorite thing to smoke?
Man, I'm a huge fan of pork belly, but I have a sister. I have a sister-in-law, and some friends that love salmon. So I'm not a big salmon fan, I'll be honest, but I do love cooking it, which is good. So most of the time we end up getting caught. We're cooking so much protein for content, for you name it, and we normally end up giving this to family and friends. Charities, things of that nature, giving everything away. We're empty nesters, just my wife and I. So, so for us to cook, the sheer volume of stuff that we do just to generate content for websites and social media, we have to give a lot of stuff away. So our family is very, very grateful and owes us a lot of favors. So when springtime comes around, it's time to do landscaping. I know who we're calling. We got some folks. We'll call in those marks and get the yard work done this spring.
So what does the future look like for you?
Well, with us, we've got a couple of, honestly, we got a couple of new products. Stay tuned, that we'll be launching this next year. And in addition to that, hopefully we'll have a little bit of flexibility to where we'll be able to go head to head with Meet My Mistress, maybe at Boonville this year. The date just didn't work. I had that one on the schedule, and we looked at it, and I was talking with a couple of buddies, and sometimes it's in the cards and sometimes it's not. And unfortunately, it wasn't in the cards for us this year. So, but we definitely want to. It's definitely time for us to get back on the trail and compete a couple events this year when we've got the opportunity to do so.
That's awesome. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, we definitely. One thing we didn't do we didn't do one SCA event this year. We didn't do any events this year whatsoever. And last year we only did a handful of SCA events. So, hopefully we missed that. We needed a little bit more of that in our lives, there's a chance to kind of get away. So we look forward to kind of getting out and spending some time with some SCA family and barbecue family this next summer. So hopefully we'll have a chance to, our Smarkos will have a chance to cross paths very, very soon. Bradley, on the comp trail. That'd be cool.
That would be fun.
I'm trying to think if if anyone out there has any questions or anything of that nature. I think I'm always available. You can hit us up on meatapostles.com. Our email address and everything is posted online. We're like I said, we'll be taking some applications to expand our pro team next year. We're going to be expanding, picking up 2 new teams for the next year. So if you're a comp team that's out there that happens to catch this episode and you're looking for sponsorships, take a look at our website, fill out the application, and who knows, maybe part of Team Meat Apostles for 2023.
That sounds great. Does anybody? We have 5 people listening. If anybody else has any questions, chime in before I let him go. So, anybody? Do you have anything else to add?
No, I just wanted to say thanks. I'm a big, just like you. I think backyard barbecue is important, right? And I'd hate to see it disappear. I think there's a spot in it for the sport, and even if you're just a novice and got a really good rib recipe and want to try your luck against some on the comp trail to see kind of where you're kind of stacking up as a litmus test, it's always a good time. And the cool thing is you're going to learn a lot at every event, and you're going to bump into a lot of really neat people that know way, 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 way more than you think that you do. So keep your ears open, your eyes open, and be prepared to have a little bit of fun, because there's a lot of that's being had. Brad, I just wanted to say thank you. Hey, thanks for giving us an opportunity to sponsor the channel for this next year. We're excited about it. See kind of the content. It's going to be cranked out. And for those that are watching and are going to look at this episode, there's going to be a ton of different teams and special guests on throughout the year. So I think check back. May see an update or 2 from Meat Apostles throughout the summertime and for this next year. And, who knows? Maybe our paths will cross on the comp trail.
I'm having technical difficulties. My phone's freezing up for some strange reason.
Quite all right. That's
my Wi-Fi is going slow.
Quite all right. That's why I was carrying the conversation. So, hey, Bradley, thank you very much. I'm grateful to both you and Brian for allowing us to sponsor with you guys. We're excited to help you create some really good content and see what you guys do for this next season.
Well, thank you for coming on the show and for being one of our big time sponsors. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Anytime. God bless, guys. Enjoy your Sunday evenings, and let's go Chiefs.
Well, I'll let you go. Thanks again for coming on the show.
Thanks, Bradley. See you.
All right. Thanks.